about that ending, folks? War Eagle, you Auburn family members, and hello to everybody else who may be tuning in who is not of the Auburn family of other fan persuasions. This is the E2C Network, and this is E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. Always heavy on the sports here on this channel, but if it's orange and blue, it is what we do. Thank you for joining us, whether you're watching live or on the replay. We appreciate you hanging out with us, spending your hard-earned time with us. On this live stream, we're going to be breaking down our post-game thoughts and reactions to Auburn moving on in the first round of the NCAA tournament for March Madness, beating the Gamecocks by the score of 80-61. An incredible way to end it, be it some up and down moments throughout the game. We're going to discuss it, your reactions, plays of the game, players of the game. All that stuff is here, and I'm sure we have plenty of opinions to share on that tonight. As a reminder, our broadcasts are usually brought to you by something. Tonight is brought to you by our channel membership program. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. And right now in the chat, I want you to do one thing for me. If you can, make sure you smash that like button, even if you're watching on Twitter or watching on Facebook. And right now in the chat, post where you're watching from, city, state, international. See a lot of you already doing that. You know the drill, guys. You are the best little family within the Auburn family. All right, a lot of celebrations coming. We're going to see a lot of reactions, commentary from you today on this broadcast. Yahari, Brody, Linda, Margaret, John Stokes, Thomas, Cool Luke. My goodness, so many people already here. Jabari was just straight up nasty. Listen, I may or may not have lost it in that moment there. Thankfully, my wife got home from work a little early today to witness, or unluckily for her, me lose my mind when that happened. And there was a slightly good play before that where I kind of went, oh, too, and I forget what that was at this point. But that Jabari slam dunk, if that doesn't set a precedent for who should be the focus and the focal point of this tournament going forward, as long as Auburn continues in it, I don't know what will. Oscar Tshiebwe is gone from the tournament in Kentucky, so that eliminates one competition, one discussion person from that type of talk of who's the best in the tournament. Jabari has made a statement for himself. And my goodness, speaking of which, since we brought up Kentucky, we'll talk about it a little bit later on in the broadcast here. I want to hear from you all. If you'd like to do a first round discussion, we're going to focus on Auburn stuff mainly here, but we may talk a little bit about it. But if you guys want to do another one tomorrow morning, let me know. We'll see. We'll talk about it again in just a little bit. Oh my gosh, we're winning it all. Just preparing for that one Auburn fan. The Peacocks beat Kentucky. We talked about that a little bit already. Loyal Jaguars fan, it's a long name, asked if he had connection issues during the game. I did. I have Xfinity, and they were struggling this morning a little bit, unfortunately. Devin, War Eagle, that was the best team I wanted to see today, and I'm patiently waiting for the Jacksonville Post tweet, or the score tweet, I guess is what you should say there. But yes, I hope that we're still amped up to do that. There is ample opportunity. The problem is everybody that posts the post-game memes, they got so much material in the last minute there to work with. I don't know how you're going to find the time to work with it. Wow. I mean, just the way that Auburn responded to, I won't call it great adversity in this game, but some points of adversity, the way that Jacksonville started, the injuries, and just kept their foot, excuse the expression, on the throats of anybody on that team. That just, it was incredible. Like they just, I have never in my wildest dreams thought that we would respond time and time again, just never took our foot off the pedal ever. And it was great. Like it was the best response that I thought we could have had in this game. I was proud of basically everyone in this game. Alamo City, Texas, Fairhope, me too, Devin. Let's see here. War Eagle from Kansas. A lot of people checking in from all over the place. Thank you, guys. Stay tuned in for the USC Miami game, folks. Yeah, that'll be a good one. Obviously, we want to talk a little bit about who we would like to see. We'll see in just a second. Saw the Auburn Twitter things. Yeah, that was pretty good. I was trying to put the stream up for my grandmother and didn't succeed. Didn't watch the whole stream and failed. Kevin, I love the way they're sharing the ball. Better decisions by the guards. And I think you saw that, right? We all knew that this was going to be the formula that worked. Walker Kessler and Jabari show up. All you got to have is a pretty decent game from your guards, and you'll be in a good situation right there. And, outside of, I think, it's a constant theme that we talk about here. Alan Flanagan sometimes having off moments in offensively, not defensively. And he kind of had some better moments offensively too towards the end of the game there. This was a really, really good game for the guards overall to kind of get things started off with. Good win, can't stay for long because very bad flooding where I live. Terrible storm. Yeah, everybody, please stay careful. Be careful right now in the Southeast. I feel like this happens a lot when we live stream. Breaking news and weather, just kind of rolls through the Southeast when we're trying to go live. Thankfully, it's past where I am right now. And I was trying to, fight the urge to make a last-minute drive this morning up to Greenville to go see the game. And I fought the urge, and thankfully I did because it would have been in the middle of a storm. And the storm made it all the way to Auburn Arena. Neil, let's talk about that a little bit. I know we're going to miss a lot of y'all's comments and questions as we go throughout this night because there's a lot of people here. So just stay patient with that if you can. Who got hurt throughout the game? Well, it started with it was a sequence of events, right? And it was a series of unfortunate events. Dylan Cardwell, the play before the play that you're thinking of, came down hard after going up for a rebound. And it looked like the way he kind of held his hip and kind of walked at the end, that it was more of a hip, like some people said, a hip pointer. And then, but I'll just say a hip/leg. But he came in very quickly after that, out of necessity, really. Lost his shoe, played without his shoe. So he was having a rough series of events there. And then all of a sudden, the 30 seconds later, Walker Kessler and Jalen Williams get into a bit of a skirmish with another player. And inadvertently, Walker Kessler brings his elbow down on Jalen Williams and hurts him. It hits him in the mouth, and it hurts him really, really badly. The last word that I had heard via the broadcast was that it was 2 front chipped teeth. That I've never, knock on wood, I've never had a chipped tooth, but I've been told that they are painful as all get out. So I can imagine what he's going through. You would think, obviously, get him to, the team doctor, get him through the next game, and then he can probably get a long-term or permanent solution this week. It shouldn't be something that I think would keep him out of the next game. He might be wearing a face shield. I don't know if that's what's going to have to happen. Normally those are for like cheekbone, eye issues. But it looked bad. It looked really, really bad. So those 3 guys all got, in the matter of like 30 seconds, got hurt. Walker Kessler got a gash like right here. I don't think it was right here on his elbow, where it would like have a really hard time because of the bend of your elbow healing, but it was right here. But he came out, probably bandaged it up, put the sleeve on, and looked a lot better. Trey, good to see you checking in there. Bryce Brown really carried today. 23 assists is what I love to see. That is a great point. And I do hope that Jalen Williams is okay. So I think most people, they see that type of injury and you're like, oh, thank goodness it wasn't Walker Kessler that happened to. But people forget that Jalen Williams provides for this team something that is invaluable. And that is when he comes into the game, he's so versatile and so reliable that you don't question when he comes in the game. So let me use this for an instance here. For example, I guess is what I should say. We've discussed it already. Alan Flanagan at the moment is more often than not a liability offensively, but not defensively. So when he comes in the game, you're like, oh, well, is he going to be able to do anything offensively? Jalen Williams, when he comes in, no. Offensively, defensively, there's no questions right now. He's not on a hot streak. He's not on a cold streak. He is just Jalen Williams. So him getting injured in any capacity is huge because he's a smaller big man, but he tends to play a little bit bigger, and it still can shoot from the outside, as we saw early on in this game. So hopefully this is something that they can get bandaged. I don't know how you bandage that, or taken care of, so he can come into the next game, because he is going to be very much needed. That was my fears, that you had 3 large guys, all banged up in a matter of 30 seconds with still 10 minutes left to play. and a team that can shoot from 3-point range like nothing else, like the Auburn 2019 of old. Yeah, it could have gotten really bad there. All right, let me get back to some of your comments and questions here. Jalen, show me your war face. Jeez. Okay, I'll make a bad joke here, and please forgive me. I so bad wanted to make the joke. So much for playing with a chip on your shoulder, playing with a chip on your elbow. You get it? It's bad, I know. Yes, Kevin, we have already referenced that slam dunk highlight of the day so far, with only 2 games that are complete as of this moment. I'll be a little bit behind on the other 2 games that are going right now, but what a way to get the day started off for the second day of the first round. It was really, really, really great. Be prepared for this statement. Kessler had a piece of Jalen's tooth in his arm. I'm not going to be shocked if that's what happened there. Great point, Rise Life. Williams reminds me of an old school player. Yeah, I would agree with that. You know, the stigma there is that old school players, there wasn't so much flashiness about them, but you knew what you were going to get, and that's really hard to stop sometimes. It's hard. Well, let me say this: if you do that type of stuff very well, it's still very hard to stop, and it's almost more frustrating. It's like you look at these guys and you're like, how do they continue to contribute this way? But they aren't making the flashy moves, the big 3-pointers every single time. Jalen Williams is that type of guy. He's a absolute necessity to this team. Rob, great game. Good first half, cleaned up second, the second in the end. So 2 things that I want to point out here. Jacksonville State came out ready to play. Got out to a 6-7 point lead. Auburn responded. Jacksonville State would keep kind of pushing back out, and Auburn would respond. Auburn would respond, and they finally got their opportunity to literally put their foot on the pedal and just go forward and create some space for themselves. And they maintained that and literally just kind of did the home run hit right there at the beginning or the end of the first half, and then we're pretty consistently adding to it throughout the beginning of the second half before that whole injury situation happened. So very proud of this team. Was it perfect? By no means, but I can't think of a lot of things to complain about at this point. My favorite is when they use the screen and alley to Kessler. And it's not like they're not trying to use that more now, but teams know that's the go-to. Wendell driving to the lane, lobbing it up to Kessler, or Zepp lobbing it up to Kessler, or Dylan. Dylan's been doing that a couple of times too. That's a play that's worked, and people are trying to take that away from us. It's a really, really good play. All right, we've talked a lot of high-level stuff. Keep your comments and questions going. I would like us to go through our players here for a minute and just talk about individual games, anything else that stuck out to it. But for just a second here, let me remind you, as I always try to, of what our show is brought to you by today. That's our channel membership program. You can help support the content here on this channel like so many of you do. You'll see icons next to their name. Those icons you can see to the left there. Little Tumor's Corner toilet paper rolls. You get them more as you stay longer as a member. So if you'd like to do that, it's $1 a month. And thank you to so many of our channel members who help produce content here on this YouTube channel. You also get access to those emojis. So check that out. Also, let me know if you guys, I'll probably post a poll after this stream on the YouTube community part. You'll see it'll pop up in your feeds. Would you watch a show about 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow for about an hour before the other games get started, kind of breaking down the first? We can still talk about Auburn stuff, but I think we'd spend more time talking about some of the crazy things that happen. We can gush about the Peacocks beating Kentucky if we would like to do that. If you would like that, you can let me know here, or just make sure you vote in that poll if you think you'll be able to attend. All right, back to the comments and questions, and we'll get into player stats here as well. If Green plays this type of ball, this team can go far. Flan seems to have found his bounce. Maybe rest helped. Absolutely. I think that's a great point to bring up, Chris. And a lot of people were saying that, will the extra rest, the rest between the SEC tournament and the extra rest because we face planted in the SEC tournament, help? You could certainly make that case here. I think Flanagan, it wasn't so much amount of rest. I think it was just keep pounding away at your craft. You'll get out of this funk eventually. And he had some rough moments offensively here. Since we're talking about Allen, let me go down to him. As a starter, he made 3 of 9 4 free throws for 10 points overall. Only gave up 2 personal fouls, only 2 turnovers, 1 assist, 5 rebounds. For him, what he's been doing recently, that's a pretty good stat line for him, to be honest with you. So I'm very happy with his production overall. Let's not do the who would we rather play, Miami or USC. It didn't end up well last time. You're taking away my content, Unbeaten Lake. We were going to talk about that at the end of the show. We might still do that. Green pushed the ball a lot more. Seemed like that might have been the case a lot. They worked on getting out of traps. I think there was an encouragement of Walker Kessler too to help break the traps himself, especially bringing the ball down the court. You saw him do that a couple of times there late in the game when they were trying to create opportunities for themselves, Jacksonville State. And let me back up. I always like to try to do this earlier in the shows, but I want to give some credit to Jacksonville State. Very good team. I think if they are on the whole game with their 3-point shots, you're done. I mean, you have to hope that you're playing a nearly perfect game too. You can see how talented they are at shooting the ball. And they seem pretty well-rounded for the most part. I just think Auburn's talent is obviously far away from where they are currently at right now, which is why you saw it a game at the beginning. But once Auburn found that window, created that separation and maintained it. You can create the separation, but you got to maintain it. You have to. I got Auburn playing Miami on Saturday after they upset USC. Well, we can talk about that maybe a little bit more in a second, but maybe that's what we'll see. So Jabari will be getting more minutes since Williams' injury. Maybe they will have Cardwell or Berman with Kessler in at the same time. Well, think about this, Leighton. The injury itself, if it is just 2 chipped teeth, I would imagine there's a mouth guard that he can have and some type of I'm not a dentist, so I'm not going to pretend to be. I would imagine there is some solution to get him to this next game, and then the more permanent solution, the more thorough solution to his issue will be taken care of after that point. Now, that may be proven to be wrong. I'm sure Bruce is doing this press conference right now, or will be soon, and we'll be addressing that at that point. But I wouldn't anticipate him not being out there. Unsung heroes, Cardwell and Cambridge. Since you brought him up, let's talk about him. Let me go over here. Cardwell, 2 points today. Devin Cambridge, 2 points. So a lot of people look at points and like, well, if they didn't contribute a whole lot, then they must not have had a great game. That's not necessarily the case. They were all over the place today. 5 rebounds for Devin Cambridge, 4 for Dylan Cardwell. Stepped up huge in some minutes there. They're still going to let Devin Cambridge shoot. It's going to have to get used to that. It's probably not going to go in most of the time. But if that shot's open, you got to let him take it, especially if everybody else is covered up. Free throw shooting must improve the next round. I agree wholeheartedly. 68% will not, it will not get it done. Yes, 80% is my mark. I was about to be overly lenient there. 80% will not get that taken care of. Kessler's a blocking machine. Let's see. His blocks today, 9. So Walker Kessler, since you brought him up, 6 for 11 today, 1 for 4 from free throws. It's an area that I've seen him digress a little bit in this season, which has been frustrating to watch. 5 offensive rebounds, 5 defensive rebounds. Normally, he's not a big offensive rebound guy, but he was this game. 1 assist, 1 steal. A very complete stat line for Walker Kessler with those 9 blocks. Got very close to a triple-double, just 1 block shy. So he had 10 rebounds, 9 blocks, and 13 points today. Very good game for him. Chris, I think you're talking about Flanagan. Yeah, he still isn't playing to his ceiling, but we just need all their players contributing. Love Bruce's coaching. Katie didn't hurt it like – I'm trying to understand that one. Sometimes those comments, Katie didn't like it, but smart ball resetting at the top. Gotcha. Now I got you. Okay. Yeah, I think, again, we all just need to accept. I enjoyed Bruce's, let me backtrack a little bit. I enjoyed Bruce's comments of his pre-game press conference. I think it was yesterday. He was asked about Katie Johnson. How do you coach him? And I think if I remember correctly, he described him as the coach's son who throws a temper tantrum and kind of embarrasses you, but you'd rather have the guy out there that cares than barely cares. And I tend to agree with that statement. I think Bruce is very good at adapting his coaching and system to a variety of personalities. I mean, he's taken on Jabari, and look what he's done with him this year. You've seen Jabari come in as a freshman with talent and just rise to the leader that he is and just taking over. So I think he'll do just fine with Katie Johnson. Dunks are cool, but those St. Peter's backdoor cuts were a thing of beauty. I tend to agree with you, Daniel. I know it's not Auburn related, but I enjoy a good backdoor cut done well. I also enjoy a backdoor cut defended well, but those aren't ever really acknowledged because nothing really ever comes of them. Williams will play. The chipped tooth, nothing major gets fixed after the season. No way Williams doesn't play. You don't miss opportunities to play. Teeth, if we're talking, a shoulder injury, a knee injury, yes, but chipped teeth will not keep him out of this thing. Clint, good to see you. Thank you for that emoji. If Williams was a hockey player, he'd be right back in there playing. Mostly, I bet he will be. Nova is struggling with Delaware. Well, we struggled a little bit with Jacksonville State, the 2 seed as well. So give them some time. Maybe they'll catch up to it. Life with Maine wants to know who you got, Miami or USC. I picked USC to win. I wanted to pick Miami, but my gut was telling me USC. Probably won't be right on that one. My bracket's not been doing all that. It's not doing bad, but it's not doing great. I lost my first Sweet 16 with Loyola Chicago today, but I made it through the whole first day without losing one. So I guess all in all, it's fine. It's fine. We'll talk more about that stuff later. Williams not playing isn't necessarily a bad thing, though, if Jabari doesn't get in foul trouble, because Bruce sets Jabari a little long at times because Jay Will has earned minutes. Jay Will making threes helps so much. Yeah, the one thing that I would counter with that, Chris, is I don't want us to get into a pattern of using guys more than we need to. I want us to keep working with the depth and the rotation that we normally have, not getting guys out of sync. And I know that there's a 4-day reset that you can have if you do win the next game. But I'd like us just to kind of keep things going, especially for Jalen's sake. No one wants to be out there more right now than Jalen. He's frustrated because he just broke his teeth, but he's also frustrated because it kept him from playing in this game. Towards the end, Katie gets the ball in the corner after rebound. Katie seems to want to ISO and shoot or drive. Bruce screened clear back to the top. Katie gave him some body language like it's, Katie is that type of player. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, and you kind of have to, it's not that you allow it, but you have to give some room there for growth. And you can't have those growth opportunities if you're not allowed to make those mistakes. And Katie, as you brought up, Katie made the right choice. Didn't like it. I don't care if you didn't like the right choice, but you did it. And that's great coaching, and that's great decision-making and willingness to be coached by Katie. Devin. Well played, Devin. It did not work out well for me with Marquette. Do you remember that 2-hour stream we did? Yeah, there are a couple of usual reliable teams that I count on making it past the first round that have let me down a whole lot. All right, back to some Auburn stuff here. We talked a little bit about Flanagan, Kessler, KD. Just let me mention his points, 10 points for him. So you got 4 of your starters in double digits. That's going to be a pretty good thing right there. Zep Jasper only with 6 points, but he does make them in very crucial moments. I thought he had a 3-pointer. It says he missed it. Maybe that was a 2-pointer. Excuse me, made all his free throws. Jabari Smith with 20 points. Just doing Jabari things. All right, so I just want you guys to imagine for a second. I'd like you just to predict for me. Let's play. Clint, this is for you, buddy, because he hates predictions. There's, even if Auburn doesn't make it past the next round, heaven forbid, that play will rank at least in the top 10 of all of the March Madness plays. If you were going to make a list, where do you think it falls in terms of, like, at the end of this thing? Just speculate. I would imagine that thing falls within the top 5. I don't know that it's as spectacular enough to get in the top 3 for what could potentially happen, but my goodness, what a play. He got his own rebound too, wasn't it? Just absolutely insane. My goodness, USC is huge, so another reason that we need Jalen Williams back in if we do see them. Katie cracks me up, and I love him when he's hitting. The team seems to feed off his energy and craziness. Absolutely true. We compared him to the Sean Shivers for a football analogy of this team, and it with a little bit more emotion, a little bit more attitude, I might say. Daniel says I'm tied for first in the E2C challenge, but UAB and Michigan in the Elite Eight were joke picks that might haunt me. Yeah, it's never good to think that you're going to be in first in the early parts. It's all about this first round. How do you look? Excuse me, the second round too. This first weekend, if you can get in to the Sweet 16. If you can get past this weekend with your Elite 8 intact, you'll be sitting pretty good as far as points. That's the key here. Everyone pretty much loses a Sweet 16. But if you can keep your Elite 8 intact, you'll be sitting pretty good. Most people think that play will be top 5. I agree. Did they give Kessler a team rebound for a triple-double? Think he has 13, 10 blocks, and 9 rebounds. The stat line that I'm looking at is ESPN, actually, because I'm not able to access the normal program that a lot of people have access to. It's only if you're at the event can you get it. He has 10 rebounds, 9 blocks, and 13 points. So I don't know if they gave him another one or not. Dusty, good to see you, man. Our guards keep playing like that, and we will be unstoppable. Sunday is going to be fun. Who has Auburn's next game? Please say CBS. I'm just glad they're on TV, and I'm glad we have another game. I'll take it whatever way we can get. I knew it was going to be a good game when Katie dished it to Kessler on that fast break instead of taking it himself. He did a lot of really smart things. He was very well balanced of doing KD things, but also giving the ball up. When he gave that ball up towards the end of the game there where Kessler drops the ball in his breadbasket and it was given kind of hard, that was a smart move on his part. Normally that the KD we know at the early part of the season just throws it up there and hopes it goes in, and a lot of time it did. But there, presence of mind, wrap it around the guy's body, give it to Kessler in his breadbasket, and he's just got to be ready for it. Let's see here. I'm tied for 47th in our bracket challenge right now. Long bracket challenge to go. Dusty says KD's best game. I don't know if I agree with that. He's had a lot of really clutch moments at the end, which would probably count as your best game. Here's the funny thing. It's almost becoming commonplace for Jabari to do what he does. So I wouldn't even call this, outside of that dunk, and like outstanding game for him. I think everybody just stayed in their lanes. Jabari's the leader in terms of production. He fulfilled his role. Walker Kessler needs to get in the double digits and double digits rebounds as well. Points and rebounds at least, and then do really good on blocks. He did that. Alan Flanagan, as we talked about, produced. Katie Johnson produced. Zepp even produced on par with what he normally does, and then enough from the bench. I just think it was so well-rounded across the board that I don't know that we can say someone had their best game. Last year, Tino says, my bracket was ranked 2,000 in the world, and this year so far I'm ranked 13 million. Well, that's how it goes, isn't it? Just feel like Auburn doesn't get national TV, CBS, or even TNT. Not many have True TV or even know about True TV. I didn't even know that I had that channel, and luckily I did. I think True TV now has become more commonplace. It's a mid-morning game too, so I think some of the other stations are going to get picked up by the bigger games. Now, think about it this way: if this is an 8-9 matchup, Auburn's probably on CBS. This was a 15-2. You expect it to go chalk, the 15 seed to fall to the 2. So maybe that's part of the reason they put it on True TV. They're putting the better matchups on the bigger networks. Dusty says, I'm looking at his overall performance, talking about KD, moved the ball better than I've seen him do. He stayed under control and ran the offense. So you're speaking of it from a more holistic stance and not necessarily like a production stance, like points and stuff like that. And I get that. I think I think in the frustrations that we've had about KD at times, yes, this would probably be one of his best games because he showed a lot of coachability and restraint and different decision making than he has done in the past. There is no way the championship game is on True TV. There is absolutely no. You're lying, Tino. You are lying. Don't even play with me. Let's see here. Wendell Green got 9 points. Jalen Williams, we talked about him a lot, got 8 points, just saw it. I mean, he made every one of his shots until he got his teeth knocked out. So not really good. Let me look at some team stats real quick, and then we'll start kind of moving towards the end of our show here. It's on CBS. Thank you. My goodness, he gave me a heart attack there. Chris, Wendell going to the paint, taking a couple of mid-range shots helped so much. Wendell played a CP3 type game, find holes in the D, hit big shots when given. Yeah, it's a good comparison. Overall, team stats, 44% from the field for Auburn, 37% from the three-point arc. Those are pretty good. I'll take those every day if I can get them. Make your free throws. End of the question. That's my one complaint so far. Dominated the rebound battle. So we talk about this a lot. Turnovers, free throws, and rebounds. Dominate in the rebound category. We actually lost the turnover battle 8-11. I think a lot of what happened is Auburn rose to the occasion, but Jacksonville State cooled off a whole lot in their shooting. And I think that obviously really, really helped us and got us in a better position much quicker than we normally would be to be out in the lead. Our largest lead was 24 at one point. Let's see any more stats we want to bring up. 23 assists was brought up earlier. That's pretty awesome there. So yeah, there is 10 blocks listed here. Maybe a team block, so maybe they end up giving that one to him and counting it. I don't know. We shall see. All right, back to the comments here. We are a Christian program. Jabari shouldn't be out there taking souls. How long you been holding on to that one, Dusty? One thing that helps Auburn and all SEC teams in this tournament is refs let the players play, calling obvious fouls, but not pretty good ones. Way more physical. I would agree with that. I would agree that this has been a very physical tournament so far. Most of the time, very short to blow the whistle, almost to the point of affecting one or two games. Should have been called, but it's not my team, so I'm not going to argue all that much. All right, I know we didn't want to ask the question. Who would you rather? Let's not ask who would you rather. Who do you think Auburn is going to see in game 2? Miami or USC? Someone brought up that USC is very big. Miami has made a little bit of noise in the ACC, which is probably outside of Duke a little bit down this year. North Carolina's showed life. Virginia's not in this. You still double dribbled. So what do you think about that? Who would you rather face? The Pac-12 team or the ACC team? The bigger team versus the traditional power, or not traditional power. It comes from a better conference team. Who would you rather see? The good news is USC and Miami seem both to be struggling on offense. Both have 4 points in 6 minutes. Good to see you, Dusty. Thanks for hanging out. USC, they finally posted the final score tweet, 600 replies in 15 minutes. I am sad that we have slowed down on our meme production as the season has waned on. I thought we would kick back into high gear in the postseason, and I know it'll probably get better, but that is something that I've not wanted to see die off the way it is dying off. It's been fun. It's been very fun. You'd rather face Miami? I think we play USC, but I'd rather see Miami. I think the consensus is a 7 versus 10. So if it goes chalky, expect the 7 to come and play the 2 seed, right? So that's the easy answer is USC. But 7 and 10s are usually highly competitive. So we really can't make a prediction there. that's super well founded in saying, well, it's a 15 versus a 2. The 2 should clearly win, unless you're Kentucky. Jim Nance and the crew is calling the national championship game on True TV. It's already been announced. Interesting. I don't know about that. I know nothing about college basketball, and my bracket is the 96th percentile. Pretty good. I don't know where I'm at. I haven't looked at all that yet. All right. Anything else that stuck out to you in this game? Whether it was plays of the game. We've talked about the Jabari thing, moments that stuck out, things that you want to take over. Get those in now. Let's get some other commentary in about the game. Give you a couple reminders. If you haven't, please do check out the links in the description for ways that you can help support our content. One of those we talked about today was our channel membership program. You can hit the join button. It's easier to find it on a regular computer, but you can somehow find it on your phone. It just starts at $1 a month is all you have to do. Or it's only $1 a month, and you get access to those icons next to your name and the emojis, and it's easier for me to see your comments when we have more busy streams. So that's one of the benefits of that. And there's other things such as the Booster Club, our TeePublic store, all listed there below. The biggest thing you can do is smash that like button because it does help the stream out. Other things too, if you think you can attend a 11 a.m. Eastern time live stream tomorrow, I'd be willing to do one where we discuss the first 2 days in more detail for 30 minutes to an hour. If you'd like for me to do that, please do let me know. I will also be posting a poll later today on YouTube here, so you can vote there, because if you guys will like that, I will do that for you. But if not, we'll just take a break on a Saturday. All right, let me back up here, get some last minute comments and questions here. I got Auburn and Duke in the national championship game. I do as well. I think it's a strong likelihood, but we'll see what happens. Let's hope this game goes to 6 overtime. So two teams that don't seem to be very good on offense, at least to start the game. If they go to multiple overtimes, at least one, definitely favors Auburn. If USC is a bigger team, obviously that'll affect them a little bit more tiredness. So that could benefit Auburn if we could get them to overtime. The teeth. You're wrong for that, Neil. You are so wrong for that. Let's see here. Defensive intensity and execution was fantastic after the first 15 minutes. Locked them up for almost 10 minutes. And yeah, I think that's what we talked about earlier. The fact that Auburn took advantage of the one window at that moment that Jacksonville State gave them and never looked back. That is the difference in this game right here. It could literally feel the air being let out of Jacksonville State's balloon slowly at that point. And it was just like all that hype, all that energy, all that momentum they had, it was just slowly leaking until there wasn't enough to really inflate it up too much, even with what Auburn had to go through injury-wise. Oddly enough, I think we played the best shooting team we will see in the tournament. State was like 4th or 5th in the nation in shooting percentage. And obviously those percentages are based on certain competition that you're playing. I thought we did a good job after they made their first 3 of getting our hands in their faces and not giving them that even a small amount of room that they need to get off a shot. And you saw how far they would shoot back. Going to be on the road, so I won't see the game on Sunday. Well, hopefully you can maybe listen in later or tune in to our post-game show. We will do another one this Sunday. Now, I know I rumored all week that I might be at this particular game. It didn't work out. I won't rule out that I might not make a quick trip over there to Greenville. Probably not. But in that certain instance, we will go live if I'm at the game as soon as I can get to the phone and all that kind of stuff set up right after the game. But if not, just be looking on here for the posting of when it will go live. And remember that usually we'll go live right after the games if I'm here in the home studio. We need to ensure Jabari shoots 3s before the whistle. He was on a streak there. Yes. He's been on a streak in a lot of ways. And the fact that he's getting better and better at that pull-up 3 jumper is it's a really good sign for us. So overall, just kind of high-level thoughts here. very happy with Auburn's response at times, and then putting the pressure on Jacksonville State and never letting up. Did a really good job there. They responded to adversity. Hope we can get those injuries kind of cleared up and healed up and fixed up to get us through the weekend, at least for hopefully a victory over whoever we play. It'll be a challenge that I hope that we'll be prepared for. Excited to watch this next game to see who our opponent will be. And I hope that you all can join us for our post-game show on Sunday. Can also maybe join us for a live stream at 11 p.m. tomorrow if we have enough people say they can be there. But regardless of that, stay tuned to the channel, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any content uploads or live stream. We appreciate you all hanging out with us here on the E2C network and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. Until I talk to you guys next time, War Eagle.